All you have to do is believe. Then you will see everything. This quote was by Morgan Freeman as Vitruvius in the Lego Movie. Folks, have you ever wanted something so bad, but what stopped you in your tracks is that you tell yourself, if only I had more confidence? What's stopping you from imagining a future that you wish you had become the present reality that you're currently living in? There's another quote I want to share. Making things happen in your life requires a faith or an ability to believe that is unshakable regardless of your circumstances. This quote was by Les Brown. In today's episode, I'm going to share one of the keys in unlocking how you can grow your self-confidence. It's the core essence of believing is seeing. I'm also going to share my personal story of how I applied this powerful belief in my life and share the framework that you can take to manifest what you want in life and strengthen your self-confidence muscle today. You'll want to listen into this. Let's cue the intro. Welcome to the Boom Vision Podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Ye. This show is about how you can thrive. It's when you build success in alignment with your mind, body, and soul. I created this podcast to give you perspectives and frameworks on how to strengthen your mindset and gain clarity in your purpose. It's time for you to live an extraordinary life with vision that you design. Let's get to work. Hi folks, welcome back to episode 29 of the Boom Vision Podcast. Now before we begin, I want to acknowledge all of you. This episode marks the 1-year anniversary since I launched last year in September 1st, 2021. When I started this journey, I had no idea where this would take me, and I feel like we're just getting warmed up. I could not have done this without you. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning in every 2 weeks since the beginning and continuing to build this Boom Vision community together. With that said, I want to ask you, when's the last time you can remember where you saw something? It could be a new opportunity, a book idea, a TEDx talk, or a business idea. Something that triggered this feeling inside you that made you go, I want that. What did you do when you had that vision, that feeling? There's a quote I want to share. It's the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. This quote was by Muhammad Ali. Folks, I'm sharing today's topic because it came up a few times in the same week on different coaching calls. When a topic comes up more than once in a short period of time, this gives me clues that this is something on people's mind that people can resonate with. When I used to be 100% logic-based, my previous belief was that seeing is believing. You have to show me the facts for me to believe it. I have to see it to believe it. I didn't fully understand yet what it meant by believing is seeing. What I didn't realize until the past several years is that believing is seeing has such a powerful energy behind that belief. And I want to share with you how this can truly unlock not only your self-confidence, but your true potential. So let's dive right in. Believing is seeing. You've heard me share this concept before in episode 3, where I talked about imagination. So there's a visualization study that I want to share with you. In a well-known study done at the University of Chicago back in the 1980s by a sports psychologist by Dr. Jude Bassiotto. So the study includes a splitting of undergraduate basketball students into 3 groups to perform free throws. So to start off the study, they first evaluated how proficient these students are in throwing free throws to be able to establish the baseline. And so the students in the first group, they practiced the free throws every day for 1 hour. The second group, the students were asked to visualize themselves making free throws. And the students in the third group were told not to practice at all and not to think about throwing free throws. And so after 30 days, the three groups were tested again on the free throws. The first group, the one that were actually practicing free throws every day for an hour, they improved by 24%. The second group of students, where they were told to visualize making free throws, they improved by 23%, and they didn't even touch a basketball for 30 days. All they were asked to do was visualize. And as expected, the third group did not improve at all. And so the takeaway from sharing this story is this. By visualizing the act of achieving success, that had roughly the same statistical outcome as the ones that actually practiced it. Now, I know there's a case to be made about actually practicing because it creates muscle memory to making free throws consistently in the long run. But the main takeaway and the intention of why I'm bringing this story up is that if visualizing success as if you've already achieved it today can have a similar probability compared to putting blood, sweat, and tears in practicing and mastering the craft, why would you not start visualizing it first before you start taking that first step? Can you appreciate why I've said imagination is one of the core pillars in strengthening your mindset? If you recall in episode 15, How to Stay Focused, where I shared in my ritual what I would do before every volleyball match against our opponents during warm-ups, I visualized and felt through what success looks, hears, and feels like. And I allowed my mind and body to integrate that visual, auditory, and feeling before I opened my eyes and played that match. This was an early example in my life where believing is seeing. And so this leads to my client story. In this past month, one of my clients is currently at a crossroads of his life. He is contemplating on whether to continue to pursue the career as a sales executive, where he helps other entrepreneurs and companies build their brand, or to start building his own brand today. So as he was explaining what was going through his mind, I asked my client, what would bring you the most joy at this moment in your life? And he answered, it would be to create his own brand. And so I asked him, what's stopping you from pursuing that dream, that vision? And then he said, well, I don't know at this point in my life if I could start a new company. It's like starting back at square one. And so this is where I respectfully disagreed. I told my client, I don't agree that you're starting from square one. If you had just graduated from college and you just started creating your own company where you didn't have any prior experience, then I would probably agree with you in that you're starting from square one. But you've got over 20 years of sales experience. You have relationships with manufacturers and distributors. You have relationships internationally as well as domestically. And so I told him, I know it feels like it might be a giant leap of faith, but quite honestly, saying you're starting from square one, I don't think is a fair assessment. You're underestimating your own level of self-confidence. I actually feel you're more like starting from square five. You have the relationships, you have the know-how, you've built that skill set of being in sales. That already gives you a leg up versus someone starting a new company with zero sales experience. It starts with that belief. And so that's when I share with my client my own personal story of the power of believing seeing. Towards the end of 2021, I joined a business community called SBI Pro. This is a community started by Pat Flynn, who's the host of the Smart Passive Income podcast. And in that community, every month they had this thing called COTM, Challenge of the Month. So the challenge of the month back then was this: create a 60-second video telling a quick story about someone in your audience or one of your clients, a challenge that they had, and then highlight their transformation or outcome after they overcame that adversity. The rules are that the video needs to be 60 seconds or less with zero editing. Now, what made this challenge special was that there was a reward. The winner of this challenge, whoever was voted as the #1 winner, will get a guest spot on the Smart Passive Income podcast with Pat Flynn. So when I saw this posting on SBA Pro, they called it the Smart Tank 2.0. I knew I wanted to win it. I've got to win this. So what did I do? First of all, I did the visualization exercise. I closed my eyes and I visualized what it would look like to win it. What did I hear when they announced my name? What did it feel in my body when they called my name as the winner? I had to see it, I had to hear it, I had to feel it. And when I went through that exercise and I locked that feeling, that visualization, that auditory in my mind, in my soul GPS, I opened my eyes and I knew what it took to win it. It took a certain level of energy. It took a certain level of storytelling where it's clear, concise, and packs a punch. And it takes the right delivery. And so when I knew that, that's when the work started. That's when I took the action. And I gotta tell you, I probably recorded 45 or 50 takes because I saw it, I replayed it. I was like, the energy's not there, the story and the telling's not there, the delivery was not quite right. Re-record. I did it over and over and over again until I got that version where I just knew in my bones, okay, this resonates with what I visualized, with what I saw, what I felt, and what I heard. This is it. And when I submitted it, I just knew in my bones, okay, this is a good shot. I think this is it. This is what's going to get there. So long story short, what happened was when I joined the YouTube Live event where they announced the winners, it turns out that I came in third place. I made it to the podium, but I didn't get top prize. And so here's the thing. Even though I didn't get first prize, I really wanted it and I put in the honest effort of it. I visualized it, I felt it, I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't win. But here's the thing. 2 months later, SPI Pro had this new opportunity called Teaching Fridays. It's where members of the SPI Pro community could submit a topic that they would like to share and teach the Smart Passive Income audience on Friday episodes, which they just started to roll out in the beginning of 2022. And so when I saw this, I was like, man, I would love to share about how entrepreneurs can strengthen their intuition and have a better understanding of the 3 core pillars of building a strong mindset. I just know in my core that this will transform people's lives. So I submitted my name and the intuition topic to the Teaching Friday opportunity. And I didn't think anything of it. Because I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure if they'd be open to the topic of strengthening your intuition. And so a couple of months passed by, and then I got an email letting me know that I was selected to actually record and teach one of the Teaching Friday episodes. So you can imagine I was not only surprised, but I was so ecstatic to have this opportunity. And sure enough, after recording it and putting my episode into the mix, on May 27th, 2022, episode 580, How to Listen to and Follow Your Intuition with Benjamin Ye, came out on SPI Pro. And the feeling I got, what I saw, what I heard, was almost exactly what I visualized when I used that visualization exercise. It was surreal to hear Benjamin Ye called out by the announcer in the introduction of that episode, because that's exactly what I heard when I visualized it. So the main takeaway why I wanted to share this with you and why I share this with my client is that if your belief is that believing is seeing, if you can see it in your mind first, if you can hear it in your mind, if you can feel it in your body, you can achieve it. You're creating and increasing the probability of that possibility becoming your reality. You've got to see it, you've got to hear it, you've got to feel it and believe that it can happen, to give it a chance for it to happen. And so with that said, what is this week's action steps? There's 6 steps I want you to take for this week's action steps. The first step is calming your mind. Calm yourself with whatever method that works for you to quiet your wind tunnel. As I mentioned before in previous episodes, it could be breathing exercises, it could be meditation, it could be running or yoga, whatever it takes for you to calm your mind. And when you do, the second step is acknowledging yourself. What do I mean by acknowledging yourself? I want you to self-reflect on how far you've come in life, because people tend to underestimate just how capable they are and their own level of self-confidence. Self-reflect from your early childhood till the present moment. Reflect on all the times where you were met with challenge. And regardless of whether you succeed or fail, you still moved forward. You learned from those failures. You even learned from those success. And incrementally, each time you build those success, you've built your self-confidence. The thing about believing is seeing is that you're not going to be able to visualize and believe it if you have zero self-confidence. You've got to give yourself the space and grace to acknowledge that you actually have more self-confidence than you think you have. Similar to my client I mentioned, you're not starting at square one every single time whenever you meet new challenges in life. It may sometimes feel that way, but you've gained experience and wisdom that you might be overlooking. That's why this step of acknowledging yourself and self-reflecting is important to propel you with the right mindset in taking on this week's action steps. So the third step is pick a goal. I want you to pick a goal, an opportunity, a milestone that's outside of your comfort zone that you currently feel is either a leap of faith or a jump of faith. Something that would bring you so much joy that you previously didn't think was possible. A milestone that will transform your business, your career, or your life that is in alignment with your mind, body, and soul. And when you pick that goal, I want you to create the statement. My new goal of X is Y because it makes me feel Z. Now, why is this statement important? Because it really makes you distill and articulate what that goal is, why you're doing it, and how it makes you feel. For example, when I visualized being on the SBI podcast, my goal statement was this. My goal of getting on Smart Passive Income podcasts is to transform people's lives on a larger platform because it makes me feel absolute bliss when I can empower people to make positive transformations. The fourth step is visualization steps. As I mentioned in my pre-game warm-up in episode 15, the visualization exercise is to see it, to hear it, and to feel it. Visualize, see it, see the success of achieving your goal happening right now, as if it's already happened. You've got to be able to see it. And once you see it, I want you to hear it. If you're immersing yourself in the experience of achieving it, what do you hear around you? Is it high fives? Is it cheering? Is it doing that fist pump and saying yes? Whatever it is, I want you to hear what it is when you're going through that experience. And the third step is feeling it. How does it feel in your body? Do you get a warm, tingling sensation in your spine? Does your body warm up? What part of your body actually feels that accomplishment? See it, hear it, feel it. Okay? The fifth step is writing it down. I want you to write down what you saw, what you heard, what you felt. So what you're writing down in this fifth step is two things. The first one is, what's my goal? My new goal of X is Y because it makes me feel Z. Write that goal statement. And the second thing I want you to write down is, when you've gone through that visualization exercise, I saw blank. I heard blank. I feel blank. Fill in the dots. I want you to write it down because then you're really starting to integrate in your mind, in your body, in your soul GPS. And then the sixth and final action step is answering this question. What is one action step that you will take on a consistent basis, whether it's daily or weekly, that you will commit to doing that will move the needle the most in achieving your vision? The key here in this final step is to keep it simple. That's why I only ask you for one action step. But you got to be able to think, what is that action step that will move the needle? Simplicity and consistency is the key elements to making this a reality. It's one thing to visualize it, to see it, to hear it, and feel it. But if you take no action, dream only stays as a dream. You've got to back up action with intention in order to manifest. Remember the words I am, I-A-M. I stands for intentions, A stands for actions, M stands for manifestation. So you got to back up your intentions and what you see, what you hear, what you feel with the actual actions in order to manifest. And so, final thoughts for today's episode. There's a quote I want to share. Whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This quote was by Napoleon Hill. Believing is seeing. And if you're willing to take the action steps shared in today's episode, you're going to start building your self-confidence in being able to manifest your dreams into your reality. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a DM on Instagram at Benjamin Ye, or leave a comment and review if you resonate with today's episode. Thank you so much for your continual support of this Boom Vision podcast. I look forward to another year full of learnings, growing, and incredible guests. Until next time, folks, be kind to yourself. Be in the light. Be you. Thank you so much for tuning in to my Boom Vision podcast. If you'd like to find out more about me and this podcast, head over to benjaminye.com. That's spelled BenjaminYeh.com. If you haven't already, click subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.